Hey, what's up? It is Jason Yun with you doing a webinar video going over the different nutritional challenges, practices that I have dealt with before in the past that have gotten my clients the best results. Want to compare each so you know exactly what you're getting into when you enter them, which one is best for you now, which one will be better for you later. Are any of them good for you now? All those questions will be answered. If you do have additional questions, you can leave it down below. I don't know where I'll post this, but I will post it somewhere so you can ask any questions and I can see them and I can answer them and possibly do more videos about going into it, because getting your nutrition under control, one of the most important things that you can possibly do for your overall health, life, your energy, and the way you present yourself to the entire world. So I've been dealing with different nutritional aspects for a long time, and I'll get into it when we get into the webinar. So let's get right into it, and here we go. Hold on, let me share my screen here. Okay. All right, here we go. And hold on one second. Okay, and now we go. All right, so this is it. These are the different challenges that I have been doing. Paleo on the bottom right is the nutritional thing that I started with. Well, I started with the standard American diet, low carb, or high carb, low fat, and very, very high protein, because I was a bodybuilder for many, many years, and I followed that protocol. It got me sick. I was pre-diabetic. I was consuming between 600 to 1,000 grams of carbohydrates. Not good. And my body weight typically was between 218, 225 pounds. Body fat, I would say somewhere around 20 to 25%. So I was in a constant bulking phase, if you will. Never competed as a bodybuilder, but just followed that lifestyle. Then in 2011, I switched to the paleo diet, did that for a couple years, and it was the best I absolutely felt at that time. And then I went to the nutritional cleansing in 2013, and basically when I started doing that, it was literally like I swallowed a rainbow. We'll get more into it, but everything just started glowing. Then in 2014, July, I moved to the ketogenic diet. I was still doing the nutritional cleansing on top of that, but I've been doing a style of ketogenic, low carb, high fat, and cleansing ever since then. And we'll get into each of these, break them down, and also the Primal, as you can see in the middle thing, the Paleo, Atkins, and Primal. I won't talk too much about Atkins. I don't have too much experience with it, but it's basically high protein, don't eat a lot of carbs. But Primal is basically Paleo with dairy. So we'll talk a little bit about Primal coming up here. Okay. Here. This slide is in here because I want you to basically do your own research. I'm not here to make friends. However, if I help you lose weight, help you lose body fat, help you lose the inches, or get the six-pack that you've always wanted, get the muscles you always wanted, get the energy up the wazoo, age healthily, then you're going to love me. Okay? I used to follow the nutritional guidelines in the nutritional pyramid, the food pyramid, eating all the grains, all the stuff, all the low fat, avoiding fats like it was the plague, and it got me very sick. I was depressed, had high anxiety, thoughts of suicide. It was very, very bad. So the information is out there on everything that I have done: Paleo, Primal, Keto, nutritional cleansing, all that stuff. And I'll provide links down below to the information that I have, to the challenges that I have, and everything. So you can do your own research. It's out there. The person that won't read is just as ignorant as the person who can't. And yep, this is the proof that is me at 220 pounds. As you can see, I was very angry. I was losing my hair, and my body fat was 22, 25%, somewhere around there. It's pre-diabetic. So moving on. Okay, so each of these things that I'm going to show you it's a lifestyle. It is not a diet. It's not 30 days I do this and then I go back to the way I was. 30 to 47 days I do this and go back to the way it was. Take certain aspects of something that you like. If you can't follow it 100%, I'm sure there is certain aspects in paleo, certain aspects in keto, certain aspects in cleansing that you can take with you for the rest of your life. It's a lifestyle. I don't want you going in to any of our challenges thinking that you need to count your macros, your carbs, your protein, your fat, your calories for the rest of your life. That would be stupid. That is a waste of time. Now, I occasionally will do it when I'm in a challenge and I have a certain goal I want to use or reach. So if you have certain goals that you want to reach, then at certain points that's necessary. So if you want to compete on stage, on a bikini stage or a bodybuilding stage or something like that, then you may need to do that. But the general people who I typically work with, most of them just want to lose weight, want to lose body fat, they want to tone up, they want to look good naked. And you don't need to be counting calories, counting your macros all the time. It's not something you should be obsessing about. It's a lifestyle. That's what you have to remember with everything that I teach about nutrition. All right, so general overview of eating healthy. Okay, so I can't eat paleo, I can't eat primal, can't do keto, can't cleanse because of these reasons. So these are the big reasons that have always come up in each of my challenges. So it's number one is it's too expensive. Now, I mean, you can make any of these eating plans really, really expensive, or you can make them cheap. Okay? If you're going to eat filet mignon every night versus a bulletproof tea with coconut oil, I mean, it's up to you. Okay? You decide how expensive you want it to be. But the thing is that all these challenges they're going to eliminate carbs, and they're going to eliminate certain types of foods, so grains and stuff like that. I'll get into more as we go, but you can make it as expensive as you want. So a filet mignon might be $10 a night. If you just do some tea, bulletproof tea with some coconut oil, some butter, or you do a couple eggs or with some vegetables, I mean, it's completely customizable to you and your lifestyle. It doesn't have to be expensive. So I started my journey eating the absolute cheapest quality food that I could find. I felt better than I had in years eating that stuff, because before that I was eating crappy food. And in the grand scheme of things, everything that we eat is going to affect our health. I started eating paleo back in January of 2011. However, as my quality of food improved, so did my health. A general rule is, if you don't have a lot of money to spend, buy what you can afford as healthy as you can. Okay? And then as your budget increases, switch to higher quality ingredients. This is what I did. And over time, I switched to the higher quality ingredients. My health kept improving each time I did it. So I automatically, from the way I felt and performed, I started allocating more of my budget towards higher quality food. Okay. Number two, I don't have time to cook, or I don't know how to cook. Well, okay. Well, the other thing, before we get into that, let's go back to the it's too expensive. So second point on that is figure out what you're actually spending on food and drink per month. Most people have no idea how much they are actually spending. $5 at Starbucks, lunch at this place, lunch at that place, drinks, go to a movie, buy popcorn, go out for ice cream, etc., etc., etc. It adds up, and it can add up pretty quickly. So figure out what you're actually spending on food per month, because I guarantee you, pretty much everybody can eat healthy or start to put in healthier foods and take out the less healthier foods from their current diet. So now, number 2 and 3, I don't know how to cook. I don't have time to cook. If you don't know how to cook, then now is the time to learn. And if you have kids, then it's even more important in order that you can show them how to cook. So cooking is a skill that, in my opinion, every single American, every single human being should be able to do. Otherwise, your kids are going to grow into adults thinking that cooking is opening up a box and then putting it into another box and basically microwaving everything. And none of these eating plans have approved foods that you open a box and just put it in a microwave. None of them. Okay? So if you're unhappy about that, turn the webinar off. So my daughter actually helps me now with some aspects of cooking. Sometimes it's mixing, sometimes it's scooping, sometimes it's placing veggies out. She'll help me make different shakes and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just watching me and I'm showing her things like the dangers of a hot stove, or stay away from the oven, it's hot right now. Okay, she's 2.5 now. All right, I make recipes on my YouTube channel all the time. Each one of them, or each one of the recipes, takes you step by step through the process of making it. And there's hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands of other people that are doing the same thing. So it's super simple to learn anything in this day and age. It's the age of information. It's everywhere. Okay, there's some of my recipes are super easy. Just require 1, 2, 3 ingredients. You can do it under 5 minutes, and some are more elaborate. Okay, start with the easy if you don't know how, and then work your way up. That's how I did. I mean, I didn't start out just making super elaborate foods. I started off making super simple foods. Okay. So you're going to make mistakes in cooking. It's just like anything. When you start with anything, you suck at it. Most things you start at, it's a learning curve. Okay. Every master was once a disaster, is one quote that I always think of. So cooking is not something that you ever stop. It should be a life skill that you're constantly doing and perfecting. Okay, especially if you're wanting to do this type of lifestyle. Okay, any of these type of challenges I'm going to be talking about, a healthy lifestyle, you need to learn how to cook. Okay, if you don't have time to cook, then that's your fault. You need to make the time. You need to make it a priority. Otherwise, you will go to where you know and what is convenient. Eating crap food, using a microwave, fast food, takeout, ordering pizza, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So audit your time. There are plenty of people in the world who are busier than you, and they manage to maintain and keep their healthy nutrition plan. Okay? Also, learn how to use a slow cooker or a crock pot if all else fails. Or if you have the means, get an Instapot. I absolutely love my Instapot. My crock pot has been put into retirement. You just put everything, excuse me, you just put everything in the crock pot or the Instapot, turn it on, set a timer, and you're done. You don't have to think about it. All right, what's number 4? I can't afford grass-fed, pasture-raised, organic. Okay. Well, I covered this a little. Again, eat the best that you can with what you can afford right now. The one thing with grass-fed versus traditional meat is that traditional meat, typically the toxins from the antibiotics and the hormones and the soy, the corn, the crappy food that the animals eat are going to be stored in their fat cells. Much like us humans, we typically store the fat or the toxins in the fat cells. Okay. So if you're eating traditional meat or chicken or any type of protein, that kind of stuff, then you want to get as lean a product as possible. So chicken breast, round steak, white meat of a turkey. If it is grass-fed or pasture-raised, then eat the absolute fattest cuts of meat. Chicken wings, dark meat, and those are going to taste the best as well. Then with vegetables, there is a clean, it's a list known as the Clean 15, and there's another list known as the Dirty Dozen. If it's on the Dirty Dozen list, you want to get organic. Okay? Just pay the extra, because getting those pesticides, it's going to do more damage than it's going to do good. So you're better off just not eating it if you can't get the organic. But the Clean 15, there's onions, avocados, a bunch of other things on there. Dirty Dozen, you've got on there apples, peppers. I can't think right now, but if you just Google those lists, Clean 15 fruits and veggies, Dirty Dozen fruits and veggies, and the list will come up. But even if you do get organic, it doesn't mean that they aren't sprayed with some kind of side. I always use a vegetable spray. Spray it. It's 3/4 water and then 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar. And then I just shake that and I just spray it on. So that way I know for sure that I'm getting the pesticides and herbicides and insecticides and all the sides off of my food. Number 5, I don't have time to shop, or I don't have any fancy places like Whole Foods. And again, audit your time. This needs to be a priority, just like cooking. So if you are caught up on all your favorite TV shows and you're unhealthy, then something needs to change. If your child plays video games or computer games 2 hours a day and they are unhealthy, then something needs to change. Reevaluate your priorities. Health has to be a priority for you and your family. Okay? You don't have a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or Fresh Time or something like that around us. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Rob Wolf, who is the author of the Paleo Solution and person I owe my turnaround with nutrition to, did a blog post on a trip that he did to Whole Foods. So he bought 25 pounds of chicken and beef for a total of $81.10, which comes out to about $3.24 a pound. Now, granted, it wasn't grass-fed or pasture-raised or organic, but again, do what you can with where you are. Okay, that doesn't matter if it's at Whole Foods, doesn't matter if it's at Kroger's, Piggly Wiggly, wherever you live, whatever store you have. I mean, everybody has a grocery store near them. Okay, don't be the person who says, oh, I can't afford grass-fed meat, so I'll just have cereal. Or, oh, I can't afford organic cauliflower, I'll just eat this Snickers bar instead. Okay? There's always options. Sorry about that. Okay. I typically do all my shopping at either Costco, Aldi's, Fresh Time, or Trader Joe's, or Asian grocery stores. Okay. Aldi's for me was a absolute lifesaver. Okay. I moved to Chicago, and this was at a time when I was doing my bodybuilding diet, and eggs, a dozen eggs cost like $3, and a gallon of milk cost like $3.50. Now, I didn't know what I would do if I didn't find Aldi's. So if price is an issue, try and find an Aldi's near you. Those will really help. Also, Asian grocery stores is a place you can get some really good deals on vegetables and also some types of meat. Fresh Time, if you haven't heard about it, if there's one not near you, it's like a bargain Whole Foods, so to speak. Okay. what are we, 7 or 6? I have this condition or I have that condition, and I don't know how eating this way is going to affect me. Now, I understand some sort of medical condition or issue where you can't eat this or that because it can cause certain things on some people. The ways I'm going to discuss for eating are not typical, and they go against the grain. Pun intended is there. Of what every typical doctor, every typical nutritionist, every typical personal trainer will tell you to do. So I'm not typical. I just freaking do it. 30 days, 60 days, see how you feel, then go from there. Okay. Now, I used to eat the standard American diet, high carb, low fat. I did it for years, almost a decade. I was pre-diabetic. I had high anxiety, had depression, had thoughts of suicide, but I thought I was eating healthy. There was no way I would have tied my condition to my nutrition back then. Okay. I believe better nutrition can help improve every situation. Okay. Well, depending, unless you're terminal. All right. So I know differently now, and nutrition can turn on or it can turn off certain genes. It's called epigenetics. It states that the way we live our life affects what genes get turned on or off. We are not supposed to live to 65, 75 years old and then just die from some chronic disease like heart disease or diabetes or cancer. We're supposed to die because our cells just get too old. Now, with starting any new challenge, the ones I offer or anybody offers, you may feel worse at the beginning of any of the programs. And that's usually the withdrawal symptoms of sugar, gluten, carbs, wheat, etc. Okay, beans, whatever you're addicted to, ho-hos, Twinkies, big sweet tooth. Okay, those are withdrawal symptoms. Hopefully, this webinar will provide you with the truth about good nutrition as well. Finally, I won't drink my meals. Okay. Well, if you're unhealthy and it has worked for other people, why wouldn't you do it? Okay. Again, I'm not talking about you're going to have to do this forever. You're going to pick something to do, follow it, and then adapt it to your lifestyle. Okay. So I have adapted everything to my lifestyle. I used to drink in my bodybuilding days, probably 3-4 protein shakes a day. Okay. And I've adopted since that. Doesn't have to be the same. You can change whatever you want about it. Whatever you like, take what you like, use it. Whatever you don't like, don't use it. Okay. Maybe later on down the road, it'll be something that is useful for you. Everything is adaptable here. All right, let's move on. Inflammation. So inflammation, it's the silent killer. It is what causes everything. Okay? This is the reason for the obesity epidemic, the health epidemic that you are seeing. It opens you up to basically every single disease, every single sickness out there that is possible. Okay? Depending on your genes and your epigenetics, this person A could just become obese. Person B could get diabetes. Person C, cancer. Person D, arthritis. Person E, you basically fill in the blank with whatever disease you never want to get. Multiple sclerosis, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, migraines, etc., etc., etc. Okay. A high carbohydrate diet is a high inflammation diet. Okay. Gluten, grains, processed carbs, sugar, it all passes through the blood-brain barrier. That's why it's so addictive. Every single one of my challenges since 2011 has gotten rid of those things. I ask the people that don't enter why they don't enter, and they say because they can't give up bread, or they can't give up pasta, or they can't give up cookies, or they can't give up whatever. It's an addiction for some people. I once heard a podcast that some lady said she had multiple sclerosis, and she said she would rather keep her multiple sclerosis than give up bread. Okay? I mean, eventually she did get off and her multiple sclerosis succumbed and she overcame it. But hey, some people are just going to be where they are. You are watching this because you want to change. So I'm assuming that you're not one of those closed-minded people. You're very open-minded. And thank you for watching. Okay. It's cheaper and easier to get sugar, gluten, grains than nicotine and cocaine. Okay. And all those things that I mentioned, cocaine, nicotine, caffeine, breads, pasta, sugar, gluten, it all affects the same areas of the brain. So the same areas of the brain light up when you consume that stuff. Again, that's why it's very, very addictive and it's hard to get off. Okay. All right, so sugar, carbs, and grains. Okay. So the sugar graphic, it's a perpetual cycle. If you're looking at it, you eat the sugar, you like the sugar, you crave it, it has addictive properties. Okay, just like I talked about. Blood sugar goes up. Dopamine is released in the brain, which is a neurotransmitter. Okay, this helps, what's the word I'm looking for? This helps instill the addiction into you. And then you just need more the next time, and you want it sooner the next time. And then insulin gets secreted to drop the blood sugar levels back down to homeostasis. Blood sugar levels fall rapidly. High insulin levels cause immediate fat storage. So insulin drives body fat. Okay? The body craves that sugar high, basically. And then you start to get crungry. Once that blood sugar gets, insulin pushes the blood sugar back down, you get crungry, cranky, and hungry. So you have those cravings again for those same foods. And the longer you wait, the more intense they get. Okay? And then the cycle just keeps repeating, keeps repeating, keeps repeating. Okay. All right, so it's pretty much, I mean, any carbohydrate that you do consume, it's all sugar. It turns to sugar in the body. So the body wants everything to be the simplest form for it to digest, and the simplest form for carbohydrates is going to be glucose. It doesn't matter what it is. And the simplest form for proteins is going to be amino acids. The simplest form for fats is going to be fatty acids. It doesn't matter if it's a complex carbohydrate or a simple carbohydrate. It is all sugar. It all turns to glucose in the body, unless it is fructose. So like it's a pop, or it's juice, or it's agave syrup, or it's honey. Fructose is worse than glucose. However, for our purposes, we're just going to talk about the complex carbs right here. So complex carbs, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of complex carbs. So brown rice, quinoa, pasta, whole wheat bread, versus simple, which is like Snickers bars, donuts, pies, cakes, that kind of stuff. Okay? They both will raise blood sugar. They both will cause an insulin release. Insulin drives body fat. Carbohydrates drive the blood sugar up. Blood sugar drives insulin. And it's a perpetual cycle. So complex carbohydrates will keep the blood sugar up longer. Simple sugars you'll have a crash more sooner. So you'll want to eat more quickly. Okay? It all raises the blood sugar, all raises the insulin, all increases the fat stores. Okay? Insulin cannot be present with ketones, ketones are with the ketogenic diet. It's basically you're running on fat, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the ketogenic part. And so you cannot burn fat when insulin is there. And we basically want you to become a fat burning machine all day long. All right. I'm probably going to have to make this into a 2-part webinar, so I'm going a little long, and I've got a lot more slides here. Cholesterol we're moving into. So cholesterol is life. Without it, you would die. Every single one of our cells, and we are made up of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trillions of cells, have cholesterol and have the ability to synthesize cholesterol. And so all cells have three things: cholesterol, water, and fat. And if your cholesterol is too low, that is not a good thing. The reason is the hype to lower it is basically the industry of the statins. Whoops, that one wasn't supposed to go up yet. Okay, is the industry of the statins. $29 billion they made in 2012. And I'm sure it's gone up since then. But $29 billion a year. If you do the lower your overall cholesterol is, the greater your overall mortality or chances of dying from all diseases increases. And why is that? I'll get into that in a little bit. But cholesterol is a precursor for the brain. 25% of your total cholesterol is located inside of your brain. If you don't eat it, what do you think is going on in your brain? It's starving for fuel. So the brain is also made up of 2/3 of fat, or 60% of fat. So again, if you don't eat fat, you don't eat cholesterol, what's happening to your brain? There's cognitive decline, there's Alzheimer's, there's dementia, etc., brain fog, all kinds of issues with the brain. The brain controls basically everything. Fat-soluble vitamins. Whoop, where'd that go? Okay. All right, that one just disappeared for some reason, but your fat-soluble vitamins, vitamins A, D, E, and K. These you cannot digest if you're not eating fat and you're not eating cholesterol. Cholesterol is a precursor to be able to digest them and use them properly. Then you've got vitamin D. Vitamin D, most people are, deficient in vitamin D. I heard a quote where if you drew a line from San Francisco all the way across the US to Virginia Beach, Virginia, everybody above that during the winter and fall months are not getting enough sun to get the necessary vitamin D. And everybody's saying supplement with vitamin D, supplement with vitamin D. You can supplement all you want with vitamin D. If you're not getting enough cholesterol, it doesn't matter. Okay? Also, if you are supplementing with vitamin D, you want to make sure it is combined with vitamin K. Okay? Everything works together. All the vitamins and minerals work together, but there are some that require certain ones to work, and vitamin D and vitamin K work synergistically to make everything work. But both of those require cholesterol to work as well. Okay. Total cholesterol, knowing this number it's not that important unless it is too low, okay, or unless you have a certain condition. Okay. Now, we all know that, or we all have been told, LDL is the bad cholesterol, HDL is the good cholesterol. From this day forward, not anymore. So there is good LDL, there's bad LDL, there's good HDL, there's bad HDL. Okay. It's all about if you're going to get your cholesterol tested, you want to make sure that you get your particles tested. So your particles for LDL, your particles for HDL. There's also the particles for VLDL. Okay. So the LDL that we want large, fluffy LDL. The hard, dense LDL, that's the bad LDL. That's the one that's going to cause all the issues inside of you. If your HDL goes too low, then that's when it can become bad. Okay. The higher your HDL, the better. So you go to a traditional doctor and your cholesterol is over 200, then they want to put you on a statin immediately, that day. Okay. I suggest if that happens, find a new doctor. Okay. So, I mean, if you are seeing a doctor who does that, I mean, you might as well be seeing Mr. T or Dr. Dre or George Clooney as a doctor, because their opinion is stuck back in the old days that cholesterol is super important and it's going to cause heart disease. But if you follow cholesterol. Cholesterol is a big project of mine. One of my personal crusades is teaching people about cholesterol. There's some excellent books out there. There's one by Dr. Johnny Bowden, and I believe the other doctor is Sinatra, The Great Cholesterol Myth. And then there's another book called Cholesterol Clarity, which goes into everything about cholesterol, everything that you need to know. Again, do your own research. Okay? If you're on a statin drug, that is one of the worst things that you can do, because it basically just shuts the production of cholesterol off. And cholesterol it's like our antioxidant. So you eat something bad, cholesterol is going to send, or your body is going to send cholesterol and other antioxidants, other nutrients to that area to fight. Okay? So let's say it wins the battle that day, but then say you're constantly consuming carbs, or you're constantly consuming bad things, or you're constantly inhaling bad things, you're smoking cigarettes, then you could possibly have little civil wars going on inside your body at all times. Okay? And if your cholesterol is too low, or it's the wrong type of cholesterol, you're going to run out. And that's when the big boys will show up. Heart disease, cancer, strokes, all that stuff. Okay? So if you are on a statin drug, or you know somebody who is, highly recommend getting those books, or going on YouTube, doing some actual research on cholesterol. Dr. Peter Attia has a great, I don't know how many posts he put, but if you type in Dr. Peter Attia, A-T-T-I-A, I believe, and then cholesterol, the article should come up, and it will blow your mind. Now, I'm going to stop here. We're going to get into paleo next, and I'll probably separate each of the challenges into separate webinars, so it's not just one big, long thing, because I've been rambling a little bit here. All right, that's the end of part one. Thank you very much. Any questions, just leave it below. Let me get out of here. All right. See you in part two.